Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time reviewing on The Muppets 2011 film review. Now, as you know, The Muppets is meant to be a 2011 musical comedy film that was meant to feature the return of the Muppets back in film, as well as trying to bring the Muppets back for a new generation. Now, as you know, the last Muppet film they did do was The Muppets, The Wizard of Oz, that I did cover. And this one is meant to sort of bring the Muppets back for a new generation. And the premise of the movie is meant to be about Walter, who is meant to be a Muppet and is meant to be a huge fan of them. And you can kind of tell his sort of brother Gary, who is meant to be human, does show a lot of support and does want him to reach his dream. And you can kind of tell Gary's girlfriend Mary is a little annoyed that their anniversary is going to be a bit more of a backseat drive. And we kind of see how they have a tour at the rundown Muppet Studios, where we kind of see how Walter learns to his shock that it's planned to be sold to a dangerous, evil tycoon. And we kind of see how Walter, Gary, and Mary band together after helping Kermit realize that they need to bring the Muppets back together to help save the studio, as well as the movie theatre that they worked in. Now, I would say the movie has a bit of a message and a moral. It's about trying to show the world you've still got what it takes to bring yourself into the next generation. And it's also a bit of a message as well that sometimes you can go the distance if you believe in yourself. And I think what makes Walter work as a character, he's like us when we were younger, where we watched Nostalgia Critic on YouTube and we wanted to be a YouTuber. Or it's like looking at Linkara when he did his comic book reviews. You wanted to be something like Linkara. Or it's kind of like, say, being something like, say, a comedian. You want to be a comedian. He does work, as he's meant to be like us, wanting to be something bigger. And I would say the movie does a good job at this. We see how the Muppets have gone their separate ways, but I think my only problem is we don't really see the Muppets really at each other's throats. We don't see them having a go and blaming each other for causing their downfall. And I think there could have been a brilliant reference where Gonzo could have said, "I told you that Wizard of Oz movie was a bad idea," as it would have shown them blaming each other for certain things they thought was a good idea. Now, I would also say the problem with the villain, Tex Richmond, is that he doesn't really work much as a villain. He doesn't really have a tragic background. You don't really see him get any real comeuppance. And the ending just feels like they copped out a little bit. And it feels more like they were going to have this big epic story that just kind of crashed through. Again, it's like wanting to watch the 2016 Berserk anime, only for them to end it there and there. Or it's like watching the anime Dragon Ball Super, where they ended things there and there, even though Super Broly acted like a continuation, and there is going to be more stories adapted from the manga for the future revival of Dragon Ball Super. And I think there is some good ideas. And again, I think as well, them bringing back the Muppets does work, as it's kind of like when Disney bought Marvel back out from the sort of bankruptcy to a big cinematic universe. And it's also like when you look at Star Wars, where you can kind of tell they had good ideas to do movies which failed, but when you've got The Mandalorian, The Bad Batch, and a proper final to the Clone Wars is when they could really do television media, which I think does work. And at the same time, I think with the getting the band back together story actually does work a bit, because when we do see them going to clean up the old movie theater place that they did their stuff before, it really does work. And it's like them sort of trying to get back to their old acts, even though it's kind of clear that they are rusty, but they get better over time. But I think, to me, The Muppets is an enjoyable movie. It's a message that you've still got the people who care about you, and that sometimes trying to do something new for a new audience can work, and it's important to learn from it. So I think this movie definitely deserves a thumbs up. Still good and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.